Now, she brings in some Christian reactions to this. She's sounding the alarm on a potential cashless society. Malls are closing, brick and mortar stores are closing. They're pushing you to go online. Why do you think that is? Because you can't pay cash online. It's all digital. It's the only cash is when you go to brick and mortars. Well, if they get rid of the brick and mortars, there's more of an incentive to go cashless, and because we have to go online.
Let's start with the Genius Act. I'm very confused about the Genius Act. I thought there was a deal made by the president to make sure that included was going to be the central bank digital currency. There'd be no possibility of a backdoor to get that. So where are we?
Steve, let me explain something. In 1971, we went off of the gold standard. The Federal Reserve did that. And we went to cash, a cash society. And the value of the dollar has drastically gone down to the buying power is less than 10 cents now from where it was in the 1950s before we went off the gold reserve. What's happening today on July 17th in 2025, when no one is paying attention, no one's talking about it, everyone is in blind rage about the Epstein files, and I don't blame them. However, right now, what is being voted on today in Congress is the entire setup, groundwork, and entire infrastructure being laid to move from cash to digital currency. And the number one thing that is not happening today is a ban on a central bank digital currency. This means the ability for the government to take control of your digital bank account where all your money is and turn it off. And this is why I'm so upset and it's not being talked about. Steve, I was the only no vote on the rule last night. And Congress set a record last night and no one's talking about that either. This was the longest vote held open for a rule in history. And it finally shut down sometime around midnight, because there was a deal made and the deal will not be honored. It was a deal that Speaker Johnson made, and he said that he would put a ban on central bank digital currency in the NDAA. But let me tell you something, that's going to get stripped out in the Senate, because what they told us all week long is the Senate does not have the votes to pass a ban on a central bank digital currency. So I want to lay this out straight for you all. You never thought in your lifetime that the government would shut you down, would close your churches, would close your schools, would close your business. And that happened only a few years ago. But what is happening today is the groundwork is being laid, and it's all in the name of cryptocurrency and stablecoin, but it is the entire regulatory process to switch us from cash to a cashless society to digital currency that can be controlled by the federal government.
So basically what's happening is the CBDC, which is the central bank digital currency, traceability could enable governments to monitor all transactions, unlike anonymous cash. So she's basically saying that this bill was a bill that it's the Genius Act, mandates stablecoin issuers to integrate with federal regulatory systems, creating a digital payment network that could be repurposed for a CBDC. And so basically she's saying that because they have now sort of legitimized this digital currency, this cryptocurrency with this bill, they think that now eventually they're going to, because now it's being regulated, that they're going to then eventually push this as a main form of transactions, of currency worldwide. Is from what I'm gathering from what she said. What are your thoughts on this, Michelle? Have you looked into this at all? Or?
Well, yeah. So my husband and I discussed a long time ago. Well, actually, a long time ago, when crypto first came out, if we were going to invest in it, because it's really just a decade ago was make believe. Right? It was this pretend coin. You may as well have been playing a video game, you know, Mario jumping up and grabbing coins out of nowhere, and they are actually worth something. So here we are now, the same as we had gold. I've invested in gold, like actual physical gold. And we knew a long time ago when she's right. I mean, Marjorie Taylor, that's the junkyard dog. That she is correct. Mm-hmm. She pays attention to things. She reads things through. She's not wrong on this. It's a matter of when. And this is just the setup. So is the panic going to happen now? No, what she's doing is she's sounding the alarm. She has her lantern full of oil and she's saying, look, I'm not sleeping on this. Pay attention, be ready. This is the setup. And again, she's not wrong, because we've all seen the value of gold go up and down. We've all seen people throw away money, our government essentially funny money, like it's monopoly. And we saw under the last administration where they were going to forgive this, we're going to give money here. So what are you doing? How are you going to do that? We're just going to print more money. That's not how it's supposed to work. It becomes less valuable, worth nothing. And I am concerned if we push towards an only crypto and the only type of money where the government or any source can find it. Not just the government, independent groups and organizations. What happens when they crash systems and all of our money is locked up in digital currency? How do we protect ourselves? I don't know what we do to stop it. But again, I agree with her. She is sounding a very real alarm, because if the votes are not there in the Senate, we're making deals that may not exist, where there won't be fail safes to protect money. And I'm one of those people we did see during COVID where companies said no cash. We don't accept cash, credit only. I saw tons of businesses here in Maryland that said credit only. So again, we have to think that way. That is not that far off. And what does it lead to? Just as Christians, and just in the prophetic, there will probably come a time where the government will rule and own the way that we barter, the way that we trade, how we feed ourselves, and that's through money. So it's a scary thought, but I'm going to have faith and be ready. And I'm also going to keep cash under my bed, and don't come at me.
Well, I mean, it could be the cash we keep could be as useless as the paper that it's on. I mean, this bill, and folks, I have been sounding the alarm about this ever since the scam-demic. I'm going to get you in here on this, Pastor Damon, but I just got to say, I saw this coming since the scam-demic. Just like you mentioned, Michelle, here in Baltimore City, during COVID, many places would no longer take cash. They were only taking electronic payments. Mm-hmm. And many of these stores that did that never returned to cash. They still will not allow you to take cash. So that sort of accelerated this idea of a cashless society, which the scam-demic accelerated a lot of things. But this bill could accelerate it even more, because now, again, they're saying that they're integrating this stablecoin with the federal regulatory system. So it's going to create a digital payment network that could eventually be repurposed for a CBDC. This is what they're saying. This is the beginning of that. What's your thoughts on this, Pastor Damon?
I have a little bit of it. I hate to keep saying this, to sound like broken record. A little bit of an inside scoop on some of this.
Don't keep it on now. Keep coming with it. Don't hate to be a broken record. There's nothing broken about it.
We have a member of our church that is an unbelievable genius in technology. She's built our current website. We have actually 2 websites for our church. She built that one, but for a season, God called her into working for XRP Ripple. Okay, she did presentations to us to teach us how we're going to become our own bank. The government, so Trump is working hard to get rid of the central banking system. He's got to make sure that the language is right. Everybody's not up on everything that he's doing. So he's not giving us everything, but the fiat currency is just not going to survive anymore. And we all know this because we've read the end of the book. We've seen the scripture. We understand. Years ago, when I first I received one of my bank cards that had the little chip. Yep. Right. And I pulled one out of my phone. I pulled that little SIM card out of my phone. I said, this is the exact same chip. I guess they could call it a SIM card, or, the little thing. Your phone won't work when it's not in there. I don't care how much power. When that little card is not in there, it won't. And I'm looking at my credit card or my bank card, and I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, my phone is on my head when I have to use it, and my credit card is in my hand. Where is the mark of the beast going to be? In our hand and on our foreheads, right? And so I'm like, okay, Lord, I need to know you're talking to me. 2 days later, my wife and I are sitting back watching, God knows we don't ever watch it anymore, like ABC World News Tonight or something. And there was a store out in like Washington State, an Amazon store where you could walk through, leave all of your purse, your credit card and everything in your car and walk through with your cell phone, bing, and it pays your bill. Everything gets read in your cart, it reads your cell phone, and your bill gets paid because that chip inside your phone is the same one that's matched up on your card there. All the information for your banking is on that card that's in your phone. So I said, wow, man. So like everybody's not going to give in to somebody putting something in their skin. No, you're not going to stick anything in my skin. I'm sorry. I'm just not going for it. My forehead, my hand, whatever. And I pray that we're raptured up by the time all of that takes place. But I said, I see how easy it is now because we're so easily accepting. Oh, yeah, let's pay it on our phone. Bing, bing. Oh, let's pay it with our credit card. Just tap now. I mean, you don't even have to do anything with it. But with my friend from XRP Ripple, she taught us and instructed us how they're setting it up that we're going to be our own bank. The government, if you pay attention, Trump has been mentioning which names. He stopped talking about Bitcoin so much because, see, Bitcoin wanted to be in bed with the government. Mm-hmm. XRP went through an extreme heavy case in a lawsuit that they eventually won early last year sometime, against the government trying to come against them for how they had things set up. Well, Trump, guess what he's mentioning? You'll hear him mention XRP. Go back and watch the videos. So he's talking about XRP because he wants you, like he said in his 2017 inauguration speech, I want to return the country or this nation back to the hands of you, the people. And now he wants us to even be in control of our own banking. XRP has made that possible. So I purchased some XRP. You should have seen when he started talking the night before he signed the bill, how high it went up. It went up a whole $1.
Wow.
XRP and XLM. So I'm just saying that our little friend who worked with XRP for you and then for a season, and she was just kind of like a temporary, but she flew out to California all the time, back here. I mean, we didn't hardly see her at all. Next thing you know, man, she's teaching us classes all over the city of how we're going to be in control at actually acting as our own banking with the blockchain setup that is going on with this stuff. So I don't know. I know eventually it's going to be just as Michelle said, and just as the Bible teaches, the governments are going to be in control of the money.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't understand what this is what's going on. So again, the central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are digital forms of a country's fiat currency issued and backed by the central bank. Mm-hmm. So as digital payments gain traction globally, CBDCs are increasingly seen as a potential catalyst for transitioning to cashless society, where basically physical cash is largely or entirely replaced by digital transactions. So, this is what it is. And so that's what Marjorie Taylor Greene, we just had this big genius bill pass. It passed despite opposition from 12 Republicans. It's raised questions about the GOP unity and whether it aligns with Trump's anti-CBDC stance. So I don't know where this is really going to go. But I do know one thing. We are seeing a decline in cash demand. According to 2024, the World Economic Forum report notes that 90% of central banks are exploring CBDCs, with many piloting retail versions that could replace cash. Not only that, but you notice how, and I don't know if you guys see where you all are living, but here in Maryland, many of our brick and mortar stores have closed. Mm-hmm. You go to the malls are almost non-existent. Malls are closing. Brick and mortar stores are closing. They're pushing you to go online. Now you can't even, Toys R Us. I can't even find a Toys R Us. Yeah, I'm one of those ones that go out Christmas Eve and I do all my shopping. I like to go to the store. And for the last, I'll say 2 to 3 years, you can't even do that anymore. I mean, they are really pushing you to buy online. Why do you think that is? Because you can't pay cash online. It's all digital. It's the only cash is when you go to brick and mortars. Well, if they get rid of the brick and mortars, there's more of an incentive to go cashless, and because we have to go online. Now you can't even you barely can go to a store now and find any of the stuff in stock. Everything, we're out of it. You can get it online. Well, line doesn't take cash. It's all digital. This is the way that the world is moving, and we have to wonder why. What does this mean? It means cashless. That's what it means. And that's not good.
Yeah, it's scary. It's frightening because it's justification for government control or world government control. That's a justification for it. And it's and when it gets to that point, there will be virtually nothing we can do, but a commodity is always going to be important. Gold is always going to be important. Earth minerals are always going to be important because that is what they put in these chips, right? So they're going to need those rare minerals. It's just going to be who's going to be in control of them. And the average person is not going to have that access. I don't know how far off it is, because what I know and what we see about technology, it is so rapidly increasing. It is tenfold from 1 year to 3 years, in the future. Mm-hmm. So I like the pushback here. There's some subtle pushback where you see states or areas like Texas that are accepting gold currency, that are now passing bills where people can actually use coins or use gold, and they just passed them last week to trade and to buy goods. That's going to be interesting to see how that pans out, because what are you going to do? Measure it there? How do you measure away when gold goes up and down? But they're trying to say no. There are some things that are worth a certain amount, and you can't keep telling us the money we're earning, what we have, is not worth anything because you've changed your mind. So I think they're going to see some pushback. And how long are we going to see that pushback? As long as you're going to see that pushback from us that fight against school boards, the pushback from us who fight against a narrative, the pushback from Christians who say, oh, wait a second, I see where this is going. So we'll see how many citizens in other nations push back. There are some other countries that have actually already done this, where you can't go through without digital, like you said, Pastor, without showing something, without it being digital to purchase groceries. They did that during COVID. Mm-hmm. And they did that to elderly people where they said, I don't have a credit card. I don't have a phone. And they couldn't buy food in other foreign nations. I don't know that we'll see that here, but there's pushback.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah, I think it's coming. I was behind someone in line at the grocery store, and she had a chip in her wrist, and she used it. Oh, it was so unnerving. She used it, and she said, my son was with me, and he said, as we're coming out of the line, he said, Mommy, did you see what she did with her arm? I said, yep. And he said, that's in the Bible. I said, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You can put the chips right here. They have it to where you have them right here.
Yeah.
We're using them.
She had it in her wrist, and she scanned it, and she was so happy, and she just went on her way. And this is what Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about. So from a biblical perspective, Revelation 13, I believe, warns of a system controlling buying and selling. And this is sort of resonating with fears of the CBDCs enabling authoritarian control. So, folks, we'll keep you updated on this, and we will continue to follow this story.